Good morning everyone, it's Jo Gifford here from jogifford.co, and I want to talk to you quickly today about why creativity needs consistent action. Because if you are working on your business, if you are someone with a message to share with the world, if you know that you want to create impact, that you want to create movement, that you want to grow your business, that you want to make a difference, you will need to take consistent action. So part of what I teach is about creative thinking and killer content and how to reach your audience. But what I'm seeing an awful lot, both with my clients and my audience and my peers, is that people get blocked. People get totally blocked with inaction. And I think there's a disconnect between feeling creative and generating all the ideas. You know, sometimes people have all of the ideas, but then when it comes to actually doing something with them, they feel like it dulls their creativity, or it's a task that feels restrictive. There's something about consistent action that is blocking a lot of people with a ton of creative ideas from getting those ideas out into the world, and that is such a shame. It's a loss for those people who aren't reaching their audience, who aren't growing their business, who aren't taking their message and getting it out into the world, because they're not building habits, not taking the time to every day take a small action to work towards your goal. Now, I get it, guys. My personality type is a high quick start, okay? I'm someone who likes to get things done really quickly. I know how frustrating it feels if you have a big task ahead of you, if you are writing a book or an ebook or even a blog post, and it feels like it's taking up too much of your day and you want to get on with the other things. If you don't find a way to take that consistent action, you are never going to get your message out into the world. And while you are growing your business, while it's you taking all that action, so until you get to the point where you perhaps have a team to help you, or a VA, or some help in your resources, yes, it can feel a little overwhelming, but you need to overcome that. And here's how I overcome that, right? So I start by working in tiny slices of time, right? So right now I'm writing my book, which is, so I'm writing 500 words a day on that. I set myself a task, I sit there with some tunes on, I get myself in the zone, and I'm writing that book 500 words at a go, right? And if you are not taking the action to do something, it just won't get done. And I understand, I've been blocked on getting that book out for a long time, okay? So if a blog post is overwhelming you, can you sit down and do 15 minutes on it today? Can you sit down and just start to get some thoughts together? And here's the other thing about taking a consistent action. The more you do it, the easier it is to build that habit. And your creativity needs that consistent action, right? Your creative brain needs for you to be outputting regularly, because it helps you formulate those ideas to actually get them out to your audience in a way that is synthesized, especially for them, that it's disseminated in a way for them. The more you do it, guys, the better you become. The more of a thought leader you become, the easier it becomes to get your message out. And that's the exciting thing. If you can train yourself to spend 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, outputting in some way. So even if that's journaling, if that's jumping on a Facebook Live like this, if that's recording some audio, if you're taking some action, your brain really loves you for it and will reward you with more ideas. Nicola, thank you so much. So it's the public action that feels hard, easy to overthink it, right? So start super small, right? If the idea of going public with something, if jumping on a Facebook Live feels too much, if doing something really super public like this feels too much, start somewhere that feels comfortable for you but is enough of a stretch, right? So for you, Nicola, I would say, do you feel comfortable recording audio just for yourself? In which case you can have, you can use that audio as a starting point for your blog and then get something out there to post. Could you write something? Is there something that you could do that feels really easy, that feels, sort of challenging enough that you're going to kind of, develop your confidence over time? But I want you to start, because if you overthink it, everybody else is going to overtake you. And that's what I feel really sad seeing is people that have got amazing messages to share who then become frustrated that someone else has come out from the inside lane and is, you know, seemingly more confident. It takes consistent action to build up your confidence. It takes action to overcome those hurdles. And I totally get it, guys. Honestly, my first, my first podcast, my first videos, my first blogs, or everyone's first everything tends to be pretty awful, right? But if you just start, you will find that your confidence rises and rises, and you find it so much easier to get your message out. It's a pleasure, Nicola. I'm really glad you're here, and I really want each of you, if you're watching on the replay or if you're watching live, to think about a way that you personally can do something every day that takes action towards getting your content out into the world, right? So if you take half an hour per day, for example, maybe you could take 5 minutes downloading some thoughts into an audio. Maybe you could journal. Maybe you could start writing just one post that you know you've been meaning to get out for ages, and take 10 minutes a day even just to work on that a little bit. And if it feels good, maybe do 2 chunks of 10 minutes. It's the only way you're going to get it done. I can't emphasize it enough. You need to start setting some habits, and especially this time of year, it's January, we've got new planners, we've got, intentions, we've got all this stuff, but no one's doing anything with them. And that's what's driving me mad. It's like, I see so many people buy all the shiny object syndrome, but I want you more than that to just get a plain old notebook and write down some ideas and do them. That will serve you far more than spending all of your time writing about what you're going to do. And I'm a huge fan of setting intentions. I'm a huge fan of planning. I'm a bullet journal person myself. I have everything in there on Trello, in my Google Calendar, but it won't get done unless you put some time in your calendar, unless you sit down, commit to yourself that you are going to break this habit of feeling invisible, of feeling like you can't get your message out into the world. Hi, Courtney. I want you to decide that you are going to start in a way that feels comfortable for you, and then you can ramp it up from there. You can, don't think about the end result. Don't look at what anybody else is doing. I want you to really think about how you can start to produce and get those ideas out into the world. Now, if you are stuck for ideas, I have tons of resources on that. So leave me a comment below and I can send you some resources. No problem. I've got free resources on getting ideas. And in fact, if you see the link on this post, then there's 10 blog posts that will help you to stop really procrastinating and get eyes on your business fast. So I know that it's not the ideas part that blocks a lot of people, right? It's the actually getting the thing done. Or even if you were blocked with ideas, and then you learn how to ask, learn how to find out what your audience is asking, then you still have to get it done, guys. That's the hard truth. You still need to find a way. And here's another thing about creativity and consistent action. If you find a way to take action in a place or an environment or in a zone that feels awesome to you, so you might want to go and work in a cafe where you're unplugged from everything else except your blog or your writing, or you might want to look at home, you might want to play dress up and put some tunes on, like whatever makes you feel like you can get in that zone. So for me, I need to have some fresh coffee, I need to have some music on, I need to be unplugged from everything else, so I turn off all my social media tabs. If I'm focusing on that piece of work, then that is what I'm doing for that for that chunk of time. You have to learn to trust yourself and build up that trust in yourself that you are going to focus, because that part of creativity is so essential as well. There's no point in having a ton of ideas, feeling completely overwhelmed by them and not doing anything. If you are having a load of ideas and you worry that unless you do something right now that they're not going to come back to you, then you need to find a way to record those ideas. So so I use my bullet journal, I get everything down in there, I brainstorm all the ideas for the crazy programs, for the content ideas, for all sorts of things. And then you have to decide, which ones am I doing right now, right? You have to decide, which ones am I going to work on right now, which ones are for later, which ones are just fun but actually aren't great. You can't do all the ideas, right? And I want you to learn to get really decisive, to really look at your list of things and think, which one or two am I going to focus on right now? What's for the short term, what's for the medium term, what's for the long term. So Courtney, if you have a hard time with focusing, I want you to try and focus for just 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. Okay, and this is the thing, I want you to really understand that unless you start to take that action, you're not going to see results in your business. Okay. How do I use Trello? So the way that I use Trello, really shortly here, I would do a longer live on this one, but I use it for different projects. I use it for storing ideas, and we use it for productivity. So I will log down different tasks and different posts, and I will move things across when I've done them. So I will happily expand on that one later in the week. But this one has gone on quite a while now. I'd love to hear your comments below. Let me know how you struggle with your focusing, how you struggle with taking action, and I will happily help you in the comments below. All right, guys, see you later. Yes, please, a cup of tea would be great. Thanks, Miles. Bye.